Evening, everyone.
Okay. Um, Good evening, everyone. I'm going to share my screen with you. Welcome to this our Black History Month launch event. Um, my name is Clive Saunders, and just to run through what we're going to cover, we are going to I'll say a few words in a moment, and then uh, we've got Aga with us who will want to say a few words. We're then going to show a film which reflects the life of one of our founder member, Mr. Sam Lusack, and his contribution. And then what we're going to do is have a look at some of the activities that we're going to be covering over the next month and actually beyond, because I think you'll all be aware that Black History Month is not it is a symbolic month, but Black History is every day of the year. We are going to have a look at our new website, and Gemma is here with us, and I know she may be in and out at certain points. We are going to have some questions and comments as we go through the evening, and we've got a position for that, but we might actually just pick things up as we go along through the evening anyway. We have got, after 8 o'clock, we have got a poet, Alex, who is going to join us to share a bit of poetry. And then we are going to close certainly by 8:30 p.m. We might not need to go on until then. So, okay, so Black History Month. If I say a few words, I'm not sharing any longer, am I? If I say a few words, first of all, welcome to this occasion. We within the Watford African Caribbean Association have been organizing activities reflecting the African and Caribbean experience for many years. And certainly since COVID, we've organized quite a number of Black History Month activities of a similar range to what you'll hear about this evening. So thank you for joining us this evening, and welcome again. Just something about the Watford African Caribbean Association. This association is now, what, 47 years old this year. It was started in 1976 by, I should say that quite a lot of people, African and Caribbean people in the 60s and 70s experienced a lot of discrimination and people who didn't really feel welcomed. And by necessity, they actually started self-help initiatives. And in 1976, we started our own. And the reason for being is still relevant today. It's about kind of looking after the well-being of our community. And as much as we'd like to think that the need for an organization like this would have disappeared, because if you go back to the 50s and the 60s and some of the blatant racism that existed back then, you don't see very much of that any longer. And some of the things that we'll do would reflect on a bit of this over the period. But if you look at the information that we have around us about the condition that we generally have to exist within, whether it's in terms of education, whether it's in employment, whether it's the criminal justice system, whether it's in the access to housing, whatever we look at, we find that largely we are still more marginalized and disadvantaged in comparison to most other communities. And to me, our motto of "Together we can achieve" is as relevant today as it was back then. However, one of the things that if we're going to live together, we can achieve, then we all have to come together. And for whatever reason, what we don't seem to think, people seem to take the view that actually they should get involved in the organization because it's doing something phenomenal and therefore want to be associated with that. Well, the more people become associated with what we do, is the more phenomenally we will become. So one of the things I'd say, Watford African Caribbean Association is not my organization, it's our organization. And I will say to everybody here, if it's going to do what it can do and what it has the potential to do, it does need all of us to believe and want to make a difference. People would hear me say, and I have often said that we can't actually wait for other people to actually determine our future. We've actually got to take some steps to make a difference for ourselves. And certainly I know amongst the colleagues who are here today, we've got a lot of experience of what is actually happening out there in the world. And I think most of you on here probably have got some of that experience too. And we'll hear a bit more about this tonight. But this evening, the primary purpose of this evening is to kind of launch the month and to get you all, make you all much more aware about what might be happening. And hopefully you'll find many things happening during the month that you can participate in. So I'm not going to say very much more about anything about the association, but we have a website which we'll be talking about in due course. And we have email address, we have telephone contacts that if you want to know more, then we are going to have much more available for you. So that's what I would say by way of just some open observations and also something about the association as a whole. So I'm going to say to you all again, welcome. And I'm now going to ask Councillor Aga Dicton to kind of say a few words on behalf of the council before we then go on to possibly watching the film, or it may be if Gemma is, if it's convenient, we might ask Gemma to come in, but we'll see. Aga, welcome, and would you like put your camera on and share a few words with us?
Good evening, everyone. This is what I tried to do for the last 10 minutes. That's why I kept silent, and I believe you still cannot see me, can you?
We can't see you, no. Now, however, we can hear you, and I certainly know your voice. So in the absence of anything else, then please speak.
That's really disappointing. I'm just wondering why. Technology sometimes not working.
I tell you what, I mean, sorry, let me just check something out. Gemma, are you in a position to say anything now?
Gemma's not here at the minute.
Okay. So I was going to say, right. Okay. So I tell you what, Aga, what we'll do is we'll actually see if you can sort that issue out. But what we will now do is I'll go and we will go to the film of Sam Lusack.
Okay, thank you.
With people, and that's going to be about 20 minutes. And then we'll take any feedback that people might have on that. And then we'll then see if you've got, if you got, as it were, vision, or if we can see you. So bear with me a second, please. Let me see if I can go to, and I'll need to check if you can hear if I'm sharing.
Hello.
Can somebody?
I can see your screen. It's yellow. Can't hear anything at the moment. Yes, I can now.
I can hear now.
My name is Patricia Wharton. I'm hosting a series of documentaries for the Watford African Caribbean Association, looking at the impact and the presence of people from the African diaspora through the generations.
My name is Clive Saunders and I'm the chair of the Watford African Caribbean Association. So for those of you who don't know, this association was formed back in 1976, and this association, its aim has always been about promoting and looking after the well-being of the African and Caribbean communities in Watford and the surrounding areas. I'm pleased to say that what we're about to start with is a film reflecting on the life and contribution of one of our founder member, the one and only Mr. Sam Lusack.
I was born in the Gambia, the capital, Banjul. The purpose of my coming here was to come and further my educational background. For those who were leaving school, it was not easy to get a very advanced education. If you're fortunate, your parents would send you to come to England to come and further your education.
Can you remember how old you were when you arrived in the UK?
23, 24.
23, 24, so already an adult, really?
Already an adult, yes.
What did you do when you first came? Did you get a job? Did you start studying? What did you do?
I had to get a job straight
Got a
away,
job.
just to get my basic matters sorted out.
What was that job?
The job, clerical,
Clerical?
yeah. Because I worked in a bank, Bank of West Africa at the time.
So you felt qualified to do this particular role, doing some clerical work. But actually, Sam, you wanted to pursue your career in another field of work. Tell us what that was.
Law,
You wanted to study law.
yes.
Tell us about your law journey.
Well, I used to go to evening classes. Apart from evening classes, I was trying to get any assistance. My embassy here were not prepared. They were granting what you call it, scholarship, but the scholarship wasn't extended to you, me, or whatever.
Oh. So one of the first challenges was you didn't have the money, so you had to work.
I didn't
in
have the
evening.
money, so I had to work and study in the evening, go to evening classes. Until at such time, I was able to get myself established to see whether I'd be able to. Well, in fact, I was contemplating to pay fees if I were to pack up the job.
Sure.
Unfortunately for me, because of my experience, clerical, that helped me to find my way throughout. I would go to evening classes and then during the day go to work.
Wow.
Apart from that, I had to manage to find a suitable place that was conducive to my environment. I had to make sure I got a place that I was happy about.
Did you experience the no blacks, no Irish,
I saw
no
that.
dogs? Tell me about
Saw
that.
that beforehand. I had to take that. Well, luckily for me, I worked as a nursing auxiliary
While studying?
while studying. Yes. And I was fortunate to have a good place where the matron happened to have gone to Banjul, right?
Ah, okay.
The Gambia. She worked there.
So did she support you with accommodation?
She helped me. Right? She didn't give me accommodation, but made me homely. I got a job there. And that was Russell Square.
To study?
To study.
So you became a lawyer.
Yes.
What was it like being a barrister back when you arrived? Were there other African barristers?
Not that I know of. Because you got to be attached to the law courts or the college so that you get to know know how to operate your objectives. Now that wasn't. I was very isolated from I realized that as I went along, yeah.
So there was no real support for you as an African?
No support. And that was very strenuous, especially if you haven't got or haven't met people who can help you. You find you're blocked.
Do you believe that you faced racism within that industry?
I didn't. When I became the barrister that I was pursuing, I didn't face any problem.
So you were well received by the people that you were representing?
Yes. Very, very rare. In fact, I worked for the law courts, the judiciary. And when you attach to the judiciary, you got amplified opportunities down your way.
Was there a wide community of people from Africa, from Caribbean? Were there loads of families?
No.
They weren't?
No, they were not. There were people, but not Africans, not the people who would guide you.
Sure.
That was the stumbling block. Tough. You got to face it and find out for yourself.
So because of having the challenge of no real support, no network, no community, coming from the Gambia and having this culture shock, you know, the difficulty in terms of finding accommodation, you decided that you wanted to do something about that.
Yes.
And you are one of the founder members of the Watford African Caribbean Association.
Yes.
Tell us how that started.
I think I was invited. Somebody must have given my name so that I can join this organization that I'm about to tell you.
Okay.
And because I was a man who was interested in people. And I was approached by, this lady is dead now, Althea Gooden.
So Althea Gooding was the one that was thinking about starting up the organization.
She was, as well as a man called, there's another gentleman who was interested,
Sure.
a teacher as well. And I happened to be invited as an African. All those members who were African or Caribbean, if they came to us and needed assistance, it was our duty. We pledged that we would work hard to improve their conditions, right? Because
Why was this important to you at that time, do you think?
I thought it was important because we didn't have any representatives, including myself. Nobody I could turn to say, well, look, in case there was any problem appertaining to black people,
Sure.
black African and Caribbean, right? If need be, we should represent them.
My name is Enid Saunders, and I originate from Nevis.
My name is Comfort Teshola. I was born in Nigeria.
I'm Dominic Bokma from Grenada.
And when did you come to the UK?
I came to Britain in 1962.
1965.
In the 60s.
I came to Watford in 1978.
And at some point you joined the Watford African Caribbean Association.
There was a few, Mr. Lusack, Randolph,
Is that Sam Lusack?
Sam Lusack, Randolph Henry, Althea McLean. They, I think, they were the three people who started the association.
Tell us what made you decide to join the association.
Because it was an area where you had more contact with most black people, really. And in terms of, I was always interested in doing things within my community. And so they were doing bits and pieces, so I joined.
The thing is, as most people know, especially in our time, you just feel comfortable among your own people. If you like, we speak the same language.
Sure.
Apart from being an African coming from West Africa, the Gambia, I didn't, if you're not attached to any organization, you won't know the problems
Sure.
that are taking place. So it was proper, and I felt it was useful to me.
We're just like brothers and sisters, regardless where we've come from.
Our first meeting was on Clarendon Road.
I've now known Sam for like 30 years. When I first came to Watford, Sam and Harris Lusack were core members of the Watford African Caribbean Association. And it didn't take me long to establish that without Sam's contribution as one of the founder members, there wouldn't have been an association.
The first time I met Mr. Sam Lusack, he was very friendly and willing to help everyone. What I remember of him is he loved to have a heated argument.
I like that. He loves to have a heated
At
argument.
that time, you know, and I also remember his profession was a lawyer or something like that.
Sam and Iris, they were really good neighbors. I thought if I just say they had the key to the family house, that tells it all.
He was full of energy, full of passion, and he wouldn't shy away from any situation. He would encourage us. He would say to us, come on, you're young lads, you got the energy, I'm behind you. And we needed somebody like that. And also within the community, Mr. Lusack has done a lot of work. He's been on the African Caribbean Community Association, one of the founder members. He was on the Multiracial Community Centre Committee. And we used to also enjoy a pint together with Mr. Lusack. We used to drink in West Arts Sports Club.
At that time, he was quite a prolific dancer.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I like
He
that.
likes his music.
He likes his music. So he was
Very
one of the
jolly gentleman.
I always admired Sam. You know, he used to be in the forefront for the community. He'd be taking issues up in those days. In the 80s, racism was quite thriving in Watford, and I went to a school where I faced a lot of racism, and we used to look upon to Sam, and then we got the confidence to challenge, and we took issues with the police, the council. Now I'm involved in the council myself as a councillor, and I think it was also Sam and Mrs. Lusack who inspired me to go further and said, look, you've got a lot of energy, why don't you put yourself in a position where you can have some influence?
Well, I think he was active in shaping the activities of the association because of his knowledge and understanding, and because, let's say, the chairman and secretary had no legal input, as you might say, but he was able to, at many stages, help, because when we were at Chaffing Lane, they applied for charity status, and he was able to direct, because, as you know, it is for new if you are new to this thing, it can be very difficult.
Some of my colleagues who were part and parcel of the foundation members, helped a great deal. I think they helped. If I didn't, they would. And this is where we felt the strategy about being strong enough to pull on together.
It's mainly with his wife that I did all of the community. If I went to their house, then I always spoke with them. But in terms of doing things, it was really Iris that I did things with.
When we were selling, the African Caribbean Times, it is she who used to manage it, and I distribute it.
So Iris and Sam, to me, I see as a package. And I know Iris, unfortunately, is in the home, but if she was here today, she would have so much to say about her beloved husband, Sam, and what he's been able to contribute.
The most memories I have of her is roughly about 25 years ago when we started a luncheon club.
Who would attend the luncheon club?
It was mainly because two of the big hospitals were closing down, Leavesden Hospital, which was for learning difficulties, and moving people back into the community. Some people felt that they wouldn't or they couldn't go to the areas that they were rehousing them, and so they remained local. And I just thought that with so many people around not doing anything, they could easily become depressed. So we could start a luncheon club. So a group of us got together. Comfort was one of those people, and we formed the club.
Yes, I was actually one of the trustees, and I did quite a lot of things when I was strong. I swam to raise money for sickle cell. I did sponsored swim. I was also sickle cell a counselor for our African Caribbean Association. I used to go around to people's houses.
Why do you think it's important to have an association like that?
I think at the time it was established, it was when you had people around and not, there was a lot of racism. People didn't know what you could do.
Racism is still there now. I work in the prison service and I see it every day. But now it's easier to challenge. There are processes to challenge. In the 80s, it was very hard. We were fighting our own battles. And it was good to see somebody like Mr. Lusack who would support us. He was like a role model to us. And we would turn to him for advice. And we knew where to go. There'd be some comfort.
Yeah, one of the things that we did, that it wasn't mainly African Caribbean, it was open as long as you weren't going to be telling us what we should do, how we should do it. People were invited to come along, and I think that them getting together, having so many people together in the same place and time, that you could actually get out there and said, well, we're here, this is what we can do, this is what we are doing.
In those days, we used to really go on holiday together, Kush and Cornwall. We went to Holland to see with the Caribbean, and we used to really organize nice holiday.
Yearly, they have a dinner and dance, and so I bought a ticket and we went along.
Okay, I like that. Nothing like a good dinner and dance. A good dinner and dance. I would have done the same actually.
I would like to thank Mr. and Mrs. Lusack for all the community work you have done for us, and also, you know, Mrs. Lusack is in a care home. When I was a young lad, she treated me like her own son. I would often go to their house, and when we're youngsters, we make quite a few mistakes. I still make them now, but she would always correct me. She would say, hey, young man, come here. This is what you shouldn't have said in this meeting, and this is how you should conduct yourself. And she was like a mother to me.
Through the contribution of people like Sam and others, we see that actually we are not going to allow all of that to keep us down. And our motto as an association is together we can achieve. And the message really we're trying to get across ultimately is that if we can come together as a community, we can make a real difference to the way in which we progress as a community. And we'll be able to demonstrate that we are as good as any other community that exists. And actually, we need to make sure that we continue to work towards making that a reality. Thank you.
Okay, I will. Okay, so a few observations. It's unfortunate actually that as of this year, all of the founder members apart from Sam have passed. So Mrs. Lusack, who has been mentioned a few times in there, had she been well enough, may well have featured much more within this video, because they were a team. And she was a superb ambassador for the association. And it was really sad that because of, as was mentioned in there at the time this video was being made, she was in a home and she wasn't able to contribute. And up until that time, while she wasn't formally a founder member, from the outset of this organization, she had been integrally involved in what's been going on. She participated in our supplementary school that was started. She was involved in our Elder project, as was mentioned in there. She also was a great dancer and loved her dance and her music, and she was a great storyteller. So this video you could see almost as a tribute to her, and as I said off earlier on this year, she died. And Randolph Henry, that was mentioned on that video too, he also died earlier on this year. And in Althea, Goodin, as was mentioned there, but most people would know her now as Althea McLean, OBE. She died a few years earlier. And actually, it's interesting, the reason why I'm involved in the association was very much because of Althea, that founder member. Because some of you may or may not have heard the story, I was actually living in Reading and working in Reading, and circumstances meant that I was looking at doing something else, and I was offered a job in Watford. And but prior to that, I had been involved in community activities in Reading, as Althea had been involved. She was part of the Community Relations Council down here. I was doing that in Reading, and we went to a conference, I believe, in Bristol, and I met her. So, and of course, we connected. And when I had the opportunity, I said to Althea, should I come to Watford? And she said, yes. Soon as I came to Watford, she kind of got me involved in the association. I said, Sam, people like that were very much around, and they very much made the organization what it is, and still has some relevance today, in my view, but then I'm biased. Marilyn, I think maybe we just see if anybody else wants to have a reaction to that film. If so, please put your camera on, turn on your microphone, and speak to us.
And I've also just put something in the chat that if people don't want to be on camera and part of the recording, then they can put their thoughts into the chat as well. But yes, it will be wonderful to, I mean, just to kick it off, I would say that the film was the perfect segue into looking at the recent Black history of Watford. It was absolutely really wonderful to do that. And for me, it reminds me of beautifully shot as well. I love the camera work. And it reminds me of the importance of capturing some of these stories, because like you said, pretty much everyone has now passed away, unless you had the opportunity to sit down with them one-to-one, have a conversation, they take those stories with them. And for people who are watching this now, or you're watching the recording, if we hadn't sat down with Sam, then all of that history, that data would be lost. So I didn't do it with my own parents and grandparents because, I mean, I used to sit with my granddad when I went to Barbados and listen to the hilarious stories and all the things that he would get up to, but none of that is captured. So it doesn't necessarily get passed down to the next generation like it used to. So really fantastic film. Lovely to hear the backstory of it. And also just a little hint, WACA was founded in 1976. That's normally on the quiz.
Yes. Just to say though that the theme for Black History Month this year is saluting our sisters, and on that, with that in mind, I certainly want to salute both Althea McLean and Iris Lusack, as I've mentioned earlier, because for their sterling contribution. And I should say, sorry, Cynthia Dixon too, because actually the 4 people who are credited with founding the organization were Sam Lusack, yes, who's still alive, Cynthia Dixon, who died, I think it's now a couple of years, I lose track of time, Althea and Randolph Henry. They are the 4 people that were said to have been at the first meeting that was called, after which a number of other people like Harris, like Comfort Tetsulo, you heard on there, and even some people that are probably on here tonight, Perline, and a number of other people have been involved quite early on. And we are actually going to try and reflect a bit of the theme of saluting our sisters as we go through the month in any event, whenever that opportunity arises. And I should also take the opportunity to say to people that, of course, we're not going to say a lot about it this year, but sickle cell and 1 or 2 other blood conditions are particularly important in our community. And I would ask people, if you haven't done it and you're young enough to do it, then please make sure you give blood so that we can support the well-being of some our community. Did anyone want to?
And I see that Zora has put, I mean, I can see Zora's moving, and Zora has a beautiful voice. She has put something in the chat, but I'm sure she can also speak. So Zora, did you want to also share the comments that you've just put into the chat?
Followed by Michelle.
Yeah, I thank you for sharing that. Obviously, we were aware that quite a lot of work had gone into the filming of it, and a lot of effort had gone into getting hold of Sam, who I know is naturally quite camera shy in his more senior years. And I know it was quite a challenge to pin him down and actually get him to share about the early days of the inception of the organisation. So it was nice to hear how it all began, what the beginnings were for you all, and the reasons why he felt the organisation needed to be developed, as well as to see some of the ladies, Enid and Comfort, and hear about their contributions in the early years, and what it did for them in terms of community, the level of safety it felt that the organisation gave them in the early days. So that was good to hear. So I think in terms of Sam's dreams and visions, it's good to know that Clive is at the helm and continuing the good work. But as I said in a message to Clive recently, I think it's about succession planning. You know, we need to now identify people in the community who will continue to do the good work that Clive has done so well over the last 3 decades. And so it's about ensuring the organisation continues to grow and thrive and be there for other individuals in the community, to continue the representation and the hard work that has been forged by Clive and his team, having been started by Mr. Samuel over the years. It's really, really important that work is fostered well, certainly the beginnings of the seeds of that we need to now start to embed, and look forward to widening the committee, or certainly the visibility of the committee or the group who are working with Clive to make sure the organisation continues to grow. So thank you. I've rambled on a bit, but thank you.
Thank you, Zora. Michelle wanted to come in.
Hi, it's actually Khadija and Michelle. I just wanted to say it was an amazing film to watch, and it felt very, I don't know if nostalgic's the right word, but hearing those stories, much like Marilyn was saying in the beginning, and having a real understanding of what life was like for these people in the community when the organisation started, was amazing to hear and gave me a lot of food for thought. So great film, well done.
Thank you very much, Khadija. Anyone else wanted to say anything?
I can't see anything or anyone else in the chat. So
one other thing that I would say, actually, Zora did put her finger on this. Sam, at the time this was being made, was actually more in his senior years. However, if you listen to the contribution from Jack Tar within there, you'll know that Sam's observation that he didn't face any racial problems wasn't quite the truth. And if you have a longer conversation with him, you'll know that he actually found plenty of racism in his experience. But I think he had got to a point, and he is at that point in time where he doesn't want to dwell on those things any longer. And I think he's contributed enough for that to be the case. Okay, so shall we move on then? I think Aga is back with us. So Aga, do you want to speak? The floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Clive. Good evening, everyone, and my apologies. My computer decided not working today, a choice, and to make lots of trouble, but here I am now. So make sure that you sit comfortable, but because next 20 minutes is mine, Clive. Is it all right?
I'm not sure we got 20 minutes, but yes, please.
I just try to make a bit of laugh. Without further ado, I'm really grateful for the invitation for me to speak here today. Black History Month is a really important part of this year, as every year. The annual event, which serves as an important reminder of the diversity in our history and the contribution made by the Black community members, have indelibly shaped the very fabric of our own town. Last year, Watford celebrated a momentous milestone. It was 100 years. As a part of the celebration, we launched 100 people who made Watford. And for those who might not know, Clive is one of those persons who we're very proud of to work and shape Watford community, not only as a diversity community, but also as a community with the heritage, which helping us to be even more richer. It allows us also to recognize many other people who did that too. And it's really important to create the Watford that we know now and have an honor for some living individuals for the work what they did in the past. 100 people who made Watford helped make clear that members of Black community have been helping to shape our town. Some of these becomes famous, such as Buxton Brothers, which helped to put Watford on the sporting map. Black History Month allows us to do that and shine a light of those hidden histories, which we just heard a few minutes ago, which brings to the forefront the remarkable achievements, the struggles, and the triumphs of Black individuals who have walked the street of Watford, leaving their indelible mark upon our town. our future plans for the Watford Museum, which will be located in the town hall and meet modern museum standards, will allow us to explore more of this history and fill in some of the gaps in our Watford story. And I hope that many people in the Black community here in Watford will help shape the exhibition there. Black History Month is also a pride and inspiration for those who live in Watford, particularly the younger generation, by seeing the triumphs of the past and a positive change that can be achieved. They too may be inspired to the change for the next generation, and perhaps join some of the great people we celebrated with 100 people who made Watford. I'm proud to be Deputy Mayor of a diversity council group across both parties. By being more reflective on the makeup of Watford, we can have a better debate and better understanding of varied experience and outlooks. I hope also that it means that all communities in Watford feels more included in local life and feel that Watford cares for them as much as it does for others. I hope everyone had a good Black History Month and has something within to reflect on the important contribution also that the Black community have made and continue to make for our great town. Thank you very much once again for the invitation. And it feels like the movie, the video, what we saw, to some extent reflect with my short speech what I prepared for tonight. And I promise I didn't speak with Clive or with Merlin, but this is what I feel about community, about Black History Month. And this is what I learned across 17 years living in Watford. And I always reflect seeing Clive, because I remember when we both started supplementary school and we had such a journey and support each other through that time. So once again, thank you very much for all your help to shape our community, and please do not stop. Thank you.
Thank you, Aga. As you're here, I just wondered if anyone had a reaction to what you've said, and if so, you can put some in the chat. I can't see anything in there as yet,
Well, Clive, I have a quick reaction just to say the email that Arga did not receive that I sent on Friday, my suggestion to Arga, which clearly she didn't see, but we must be vibing, is I said, I think it might be a good idea to also reflect on the 100 people of Watford, the community, the contribution they've made to the community, and talk a little bit about that. So Arga, exactly what I put in the email is exactly what you said. So I just wanted to let you know that.
Thank you, Marlene. This is how I feel about our town, which I'm really, really proud to be. I think that having the role of Deputy Mayor and have a fellow councillors who I see this evening, including yourself, Marlene, it is truly an incredible role of diverse community, what we all represent, and have that opportunity to represent our history is such important, and it's great the harmony, how across the parties we're working really well together.
Absolutely. And there's a comment also from Zora. So Zora says, many thanks, Arga, for your ongoing support to WACA. And yeah, that's wonderful. Brilliant. Well, Clive, back to you.
And I should say, as a proud Nigerian, I should repeat on camera that happy Nigerian Day today. I'm celebrating. Okay. So I think the next thing that we wanted to talk about is to talk about the events that we're planning over the months. And in that regard, I'm just wondering, it might be an idea if I was to try and find the calendar. So what I think I'm going to do is Marcia still with us? That's just to check some.
I have got them written down here, Clive, if that helps.
Okay, Marlene, would you? Well, I was just going to check if Gemma might be available, in which case we might actually have her in. But do you want to just what we'll do is, Marilyn, if you take this the lead on this, and we'll see who is going to speak on the different events. So what this session is going to be about, just trying to give you an idea what is going to be happening for the rest of the month. And when Gemma comes on, we'll probably show a bit more on visual on the Black History Month calendar that we've got together. So, Marilyn.
And I'm going to turn my volume down because I keep getting notifications. So I'll have to just watch your mouth moving if you happen to say anything, but I've just turned my volume off, so you're not going to hear the notifications coming. So of course, today is the kickoff event. The next event that we're doing is on Tuesday, the 3rd of October, and that is the reality of race discrimination in these times, 7 p.m. on Zoom. So Clive, did you actually want to say a few words about that one?
Yes, not many, but a few. Just to say that please come along to that session. Some of you might know that I've been working in the field of equality and diversity for many years. And despite the fact that we've had legislation going back nearly 60 years, actually, from the first Race Relations Act in 1965, we still have some real challenges around this. So one of the things that we want to do on Tuesday is to have a little bit of a reflection on some of those realities that we have facing us today. But also we want to think about, what do we need to do? What can we do? Because near 60 years plus, some things have changed, but a lot of things haven't changed. And actually, we suffer as a result of that. So encourage anybody who can to join us on Tuesday for that conversation, because we don't want to talk to ourselves. Myself and Marilyn don't want to talk to ourselves. Your contributions, your experience, your knowledge is equally as important to any that I might bring to the table, either one of us might bring to the table. So yeah, do come along to that one, please.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Clive. Next, we have Saturday, the 7th of October. And I'm going to come to Zora for this one, because Zora, you were instrumental in coming up with this idea. You were there last year as well. So on Saturday, the 7th of October, from 10:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m., we have the walk and talk in Castleberry Park. So Zora, over to you. Now, you are muted at the moment, so you're going to have to just unmute. There we go.
Yeah. Well, I think to balance having a chat with exercise, there can be nothing better than having a stroll, whiling away the miles as you do so, pounding the nature trail or the fitness track. You'd be surprised how many miles you can do when you're just talking about the kids and what's going on in life in general. And so I know that the path that has been set up is one that probably isn't that challenging, but certainly is a can-do for most people of all fitness levels. It's something, the trail, I believe, is quite a decent walkway around the Castleberry Park. I think you're probably taking something like 5,000 to 6,000 steps in total, which is probably just about a couple of miles. The plan is to do it over 2 hours with a pit stop at the beginning and close to the end. If people want to bring their lunch and have it in the park, if it's a nice afternoon, I think that's on the cards as well. But yeah, come along, have a walk, have a natter, stretch your legs and get some exercise. What could be better?
Now that sounds absolutely amazing. So I hope you can all make it for that. And of course, British weather, come with some layers and maybe bring an umbrella, but fingers crossed, the weather will be fabulous. So next we have Monday, the 9th of October, Black History Month Dial-Up, Watford Pump House, and that is at 6:30 p.m. So Clive, is that the open mic event?
Alex is actually with us, so I just wondered whether he would actually want to say something about himself. Alex, welcome. Do you want to just put your camera on and talk to us about the open mic event on the 9th?
Absolutely. So, as some of you, hopefully all of you will know, The Watford Fringe Festival is well underway. We've had a jam-packed weekend of events, and mostly at the Pump House Theatre, but actually 11 different venues across Watford, well over 100 performances over the fortnight of the festival. And our Black History Month dial-up is going to be one of the last events on Monday the 9th at 7:30 p.m. on the main stage at the Pump House Theatre. Please do come along. It's completely free. We're asking for £5 donations from people who feel able to support the work we do as an open mic event, or indeed people who might want to support the Pump House Theatre, who are currently in the midst of a really important Raise the Roof campaign. They need to raise something like £750,000 to get a new roof over the main theatre space, which will just open up the theatre completely. It does so much wonderful work in providing a space for amateur groups, youth groups, loads of local community groups. So everything we can do as a community to support them will be hugely appreciated. You may well have had one of these booklets through your letterbox. I hope you have. They've been distributed all over Watford. And there are two events, actually, which are connected to Black History Month. On this page here, you'll see House at the End of Empire, which is a play about race within family. It's a family where there is a white father and a black mother who've had a mixed race daughter who is struggling with her identity and her relationship with her parents. It's a really interesting look at identity across generations. And as the title suggests, House at the End of Empire, it's trying to address issues of race within the context of empire. How do we find our identities, both as proudly British, but also recognizing some of the horrible histories of the empire on different colonies in the past. So it's a challenging play, but one which I urge you to head across to if you're able to on that Friday evening. And then the Black History Month open mic is on Monday the 9th at 7:30. And as I say, that one's completely free. All the details are in the booklet, and I'll make sure I put a link in the chat now as well, so anyone who wants to can find out a little bit more.
Oh, that is absolutely fantastic and wonderful to have you here, Alex. Lovely to see you again.
Thank you.
Brilliant. So we are moving on to
just one question.
Yeah.
1 minute. Just to say, Alex is going to be our poet this evening, so he'll be coming back later on to do some poetry for us.
Brilliant. Look forward to that. I've heard Alex in action and he is amazing. So do make sure you stay for that. So on Wednesday, the 11th of October, we have the 50+ Activity Club Open Day. That's in the Asda Community Room from 11:30 a.m. till 2:30 p.m. And I know I may be putting her on the spot, but I don't know if Pearline wanted to say anything about that, because I know you're very involved, and also I can see Marcia there as well. And Marcia, I know you have you may have some things to say, so do either of you want to say anything about what people can expect with the 50+ Activity Club?
Well, Pauline hasn't put a camera on, so it'll be down to me. Pauline, chip in if I forget anything. But on Wednesday, what day did you say it was? The 11th, we'll be opening our doors and showcasing some of the things that we've been doing this past year. We've got people who have never knitted, who are now knitting, making garments, squares, making them into cushions and all kinds of things. We've got sugar craft, things that one of our members has been teaching us, and we'll demonstrate, well, not demonstrate, we'll showcase that. We've got cards, we've got tea, coffee, cake, biscuits, chatter, anything you need to while away a few hours. On Wednesday, we're also having a visit from Jinder and Son, and they are funeral directors. It sounds a bit morbid. However, you need to plan for what's going to be inevitable, and he's coming to chat and talk to us about the Golden Charter and anything else you want to find out about funeral arrangements. Our doors are always open, but on that day we'll be showcasing lots of the things that we've done and are doing. That's it. Anything I've missed, Pearlie? You're on mute though.
I just say you'll get a slice of cake and a cup of coffee or tea.
Yeah.
Wonderful. I'm always up for cake. I think most people who know me know that. So that's Wednesday, the 11th of October, 11:30 a.m. till 2:30 p.m. Sounds amazing, and just it sounds like a really wonderful spot. So thank you, Marcia, and thank you, Pearline, for that. Tuesday, the 17th of October, we've got the Southwest Hearts Black Parents Forum. It's the launch event. That's also going to be on Zoom. So again, you can join us from anywhere, any location, and that is at 6:30 p.m. So Clive, did you want to say anything about that particular event? You are muted, however, so you might want to just unmute.
Sorry. Just want to say that this is an initiative that is well overdue. For a long time, it has been said, we as an organization, we do something for older people, we do something for younger people. What are we doing for those people in the middle? Well, actually, we are still concerned about the future of our youngsters, but we have never brought parents together in a kind of formal forum where we can exchange ideas and thoughts. So my ask of you all is to really try and encourage everybody that you know who might be a parent, might be a grandparent, might be a guardian of our children to join us, so that collectively we can try and find a way in which we can support each other, and equally and more importantly, support the development of our young people, so that the future becomes one that we're all going to be proud of for them all. So please help us if you can with that.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Clive. Next, I am going to be coming back to Zora for this one. So this will be Friday, the 20th of October. Again, we're on Zoom, so it's easily accessible, 6:30 p.m. And of course, all the times I'm saying a UK, well, we're still hanging on to British summertime, but the clocks will be changing soon. So this one is myths and stereotypes of Black male and female relationships. So Zora, back to you.
Right, well, what can I say? I'm hoping to, I will be, let's be a bit more positive, this event with my friend and colleague, Hugh Mayers, who is an established psychotherapist, a relationship psychotherapist. He specializes predominantly in relationships between Muslim couples and Black couples. We decided that we would perhaps have an open discussion around some of the myths around the lack of success in Black relationships, looking at some of the reasons why that could be, what are the challenges that are facing Black individuals that cause the lack of success in their relationships. And it'll be an open debate. So we look forward to hearing your thoughts and your views. And you never know. Hugh might use it as a piece of research. He's always looking for items and topics that he can do research in. So we look forward to your input on that day. Thank you.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you so much, Zora. Sounds absolutely fascinating. Next, we have, and unfortunately, well, it's a good thing for my friend, but I'm going to be at the Barbados High Commission. A friend has written a book, Loving the Sisters, Pamela R. Haynes. She has been one of our previous speakers. So I'm going to be the host and MC for that event. So on Saturday, the 21st of October, I will not be there, but I encourage you all to be there. This is actually an in-person event. So it's a film screening, Watford Palace Theatre. Thank you to the Palace Theatre. 7:30 p.m. and it's the film screening of The Summer of Soul. So for those who haven't yet, just a very quick summary. So this, I'll just read you the description of this one. It says, over the course of 6 weeks during the summer of 1969, thousands of people attend the Harlem Cultural Festival to celebrate Black history, culture, music, and fashion. So director of this one was Questlove. The release date was, so it's very recent, 25th of June 2021. It has won several awards: Academy Award for Best Documentary Feature, Grammy Award for Best Music Film. Oh man, I wish I was going to be there. BAFTA Award for Best Documentary, Independent Spirit Award for Best Documentary Movie, and there are a few other accolades. So this one is Watford Palace Theatre. Make sure you are there. Clive, is there anything else you wanted to say about this one?
All I would say is that I've actually seen it, and it's well worth seeing. It's really uplifting and tells an often overlooked story about our contribution and impact in that area of music. It's an American film, but well worth seeing. So I would encourage you all to go and see it.
And you can
Can
keep.
I just add,
Oh, please do. Yes, go ahead.
You need to get tickets for this event. So tickets you'll have to book through the Palace Theatre. I think they're £12 a ticket.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for that, Marcia. And if you happen to have a link, or maybe go and look, could you put it into the chat? If you could have a quick look, that will be amazing. And also Sunday, the 15th of October. Okay, wonderful. So that's in the chat from Marcia. All right, so I'm going to be handing back. I'm going to say a few words about this, and I'll hand back to Clive as well to talk about Monday, the 23rd of October. Again, it's on Zoom. This one is at 7 p.m. and it's mental health and suicide in the Black community. So it's a topic that I'm very passionate about. I always say, banging on about it since the year 2000. The reason being, I contemplated suicide in September 2000, phoned the Samaritans. The following year, I became a Samaritans volunteer, where I was one of the people answering the phones, or the, I'm pointing over there because it's that way, but the Samaritans office on St John's Road in Watford, they also have visitors, so we would welcome visitors into the centre as well. And one of the things I've always said is I want people to be able to talk about suicidal feelings as openly as you might say, what do you want, what flavour herbal tea do you want? Because there's a lot of stigma attached to the subject, which I think is one of the reasons why it is so pervasive, and one of the things that is often most shocking about it. And one of the things I used to hear most often in terms of being at the Samaritans, and also the work I've been doing as a coach and therapist for the past 23 years at this point, is people that I had no idea, oh my God. And then they think, oh, if only I'd done it. I say, stop right there with the if onlys. However, it's one of those things, because it's not spoken about very often. I think it needs more attention to destigmatize it. So Clive, anything else you want to add?
Just very briefly, just to say that there probably aren't many of us who don't have some experience of someone who's either had some difficulties or has actually managed to complete suicide. But we don't talk about it enough. So please join the conversation, because actually the motto together we can achieve also is about together we can actually try and help each other to do better and to get better. So please join and encourage others to do, because you may not feel that you're in that position yourself, but you never know what tomorrow is going to bring. So let's try and work at this together.
Wonderful. Just 3 more to go in terms of context. Thursday the 26th, Sunday the 29th, Tuesday the 31st. I have no idea who put this together for the website, but it looks good. I love it.
It's Gemma.
Oh, is it Gemma? Wow, fantastic. So Thursday the 26th, Children's Storytelling Workshop, South Oxley Library. I'm glad to see the other wards are coming in. So South Oxley Library, 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. Clive, who wants to say a few words about that, or does that one basically speak for itself?
Well, it does, but Gemma might have been able to say a bit more. That is an event that's part of our partnership with True Rivers District Council, and through that we're able to support bringing in artists, and it's about the possibilities that arises from us working together with others. It is a children's event, so if you've got children, then contact us. we are going to try. I mean, it's in Three Rivers, but actually, I'm sure people from across the area will be welcome. So get in touch. It's a great storyteller. It's a great session to be a part of for young children.
Wonderful, thank you so much. And just to give you a little bit of notice, if your camera doesn't come on, I will assume that you're not in a position to do it because I know you're a new parent. But I'm thinking I might want to call on Joe Innes for the next one, which is Sunday the 29th of October, Black History Month. It's the virtual quiz. It's on Zoom, 6:30 p.m. It's always absolutely fantastic. I'm not a fan of quizzes, I'll be honest, but this one I actually do enjoy. Hello, Joe, over to you and welcome. Lovely to see you.
Hi everyone, can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that's the long and short of it. So yeah, Clive and I will be doing the quiz towards the end of Black History Month. So it's kind of closing things out, bit of fun, family friendly, and hopefully, yeah, like informative as well, so people can learn some stuff as well as have a good evening. So it should be good. I'm really looking forward to it.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you. And just as a hint, please make sure that question, when was WACA started? It's got to be in the quiz. Everyone's got to be able to go, yes, I got one right. So just dropping a heavy hint there. That's cool. Right. So that brings us up to Tuesday, the 31st of October. Now, before I tell you what this one is, what I am going to say is please be on the lookout. If you are on the WACA mailing list or if you're in the WhatsApp group, there may be other events that pop up because there was something we wanted to do with businesses, showcase, etc. So this is the definitive list. These events will be happening. There may be I'm not saying there will be, but there may be a couple of other things. So we close on Tuesday, the 31st of October, an audience with local Black women writers. That is on Zoom, 6:30 p.m. So Clive, I will hand back to you to say any more you want to say and to transition us into the next segment.
Okay, so thank you very much, Marilyn. So on this date, I said earlier on that the theme for Black History Month this year is saluting our sisters. So what we thought we'd actually do is bring some local Black women who've written books together. We definitely have two writers already signed up to be part of that session to share their experience and knowledge with you. However, if you're aware of any other Black women writers who've written whatever the book is, never mind whether it's fiction, non-fiction, then get in touch with us and we can try and see if we can't have their voices there too, because we are beginning to show what we can do in that department, and we're doing it locally too. So we won't tell you the names as yet, but we'll come along and we'll share that information quite soon. But come along, please.
Wonderful. So that is the event. That's the end of the official program of events. So as far as this goes, is Gemma here now? Because Gemma was next on the list, but if not, Clive, I will let you decide if you want to go to the poetry or do any comments.
Yeah, I think we'll let's do any, if anybody has any comments, because it's probably right that we pick this up now. So you've kind of heard a bit about what the program is going to involve. Any questions, any comments from anyone? If not, we'll go to Alex for a bit of poetry, and then we'll see if Gemma is able to join us. She'll join us whenever, as soon as she's able. And if not, I know a bit about what she's going to say, but it's better if she says it herself. Okay, any questions, any comments on what we're doing this year?
No, I'm looking in the chat. I cannot see any comments at the moment, Clive.
Whilst people are thinking about it, let me say a couple of other things that it's not actually formally in that October bit of the program, but we are actually going to do something in early November, looking at finances, because we know we remain in difficult times. I think it might be the 10th of November, if I remember correctly. So we are going to be doing something that continues to focus on that area of activity. I should also say that we are, as an organization, looking to see what more we can do by way of supporting the community. And we have a small amount of funds in relation to some work in Three Rivers that we are going to seek to distribute. And we are looking at means in which we can do more of that, because as I say, we recognize that times are difficult. There is something that we're going to talk about on the 3rd, as you know, but I'm really excited about something that is going to come much later on. As I've said earlier on, Black History doesn't just occur in October, it's every day of the year. But we've got a chap called Professor Anthony Emmanuel is going to join us for a session where he's going to talk to us about what is termed anti-Black discrimination. Some of you might think that you've heard more than enough about it, but if you listen to what he's got to say about it, I think you'll know that there's a lot more to be said and even more to do. So that's that. Still can't say anything in the chat as yet. So it's just gone 8 o'clock, Alex, which probably is about what we had kind of said when you contacted me and said, if it was after 8, you'll be fine. You managed to get here a lot earlier. Thank you very much for doing that. Alex is one of our members, but he's also a professional artist in his own right. And he was talking to you about some of the stuff he's doing at the Pump House. So he's a local individual, member of our community. And it was really kind of wonderful for me when he said, yeah, I'll be happy to do something when I ask him. So Alex, I think you've got some poems that you'd want to share with us. So welcome, thanks again, and over to you.
Thanks very much, Clive, and hello everybody. It's lovely to see some faces I recognise, and if not the faces, the names that I recognise on the Zoom backdrops. But there are some of you who I've not met and don't know, so special hello to you. And I thought I'd just spend a minute at the beginning to say a little bit about myself. So I'm a Watford lad. I went to Watford Grammar Boys and then off to university and back, and I now work as a teacher in a secondary school teaching English. So I'm one of those people who has always had my year divided up into terms by some anonymous authority who tells me when I'll have my holidays. But that works very well for me because it means that I have my stable job, which I really enjoy, but I've got plenty of time in those holidays to help my creative life flourish. Creativity is my passion, and I really enjoy working as a writer, a singer, an actor, a director. But today, really, I want to talk to you about my writing. My first book came out in, I think it was 2010, and it's called Wendy the Whale. It's a children's book about a whale called Wendy who gets beached on the coast of Hermanus, which is a small fishing town in South Africa. And the story goes, it was a kind of oral legend, that when she was beached, all the townspeople gathered round to help release her back into the water, and she sailed safely away. And then each subsequent year, she came back with more friends, with her family. And this is where the fiction kind of melts into fact, because Hermanus is now the best place in the world to whale watch from the shore without getting into a boat. It's got beautiful illustrations by a Scottish artist called Lucy Newton. And this was where it all started for me. Getting this published by Winston's Press, which is a small Midlands publisher, really gave me the bug to keep going with my writing. So my next book was a young adult novel called His Hidden Wings. And this is the book I wish had been on my school library shelf when I was a student. It's about a boy called Aidan who on his 16th birthday, magically, mysteriously, painfully, grows a tiny pair of perfect blue butterfly wings just underneath his shoulder blades. And understandably, it freaks him out. He has to figure out what to do about that, how he's going to accommodate that into his life. He feels embarrassed by them, awkward. And effectively, it's a story about the journey towards self-acceptance, self-pride, and self-love as he reconciles himself to this part of himself which he didn't choose, but which he comes to love. And now onto the poetry. So I spent 2 years of my teaching career out in Jordan, in the Middle East, teaching at an international school just outside the capital, Amman. I had an amazing 2 years there. It was really formative time for me. But when I came back home during the holidays, or indeed at the end of the experience, I found the conversations I was having with friends and family quite stilted. It's hard to compress 2 years of amazing experiences into a little cocktail chit chat at the corner of the bar. People would ask, so how was it? And I'd say, yeah, it was great, it was fine, it was fab, but not really get down to any of the details. So I thought what I would do is go back to my journals. I've been writing poetry whilst I was out there, and put them into a collection which would help me share my experiences with more insight and colour to my family and friends. And that became this collection, Black Iris. The black iris is the national flower of Jordan. But having created the collection, I then started going round poetry open mics in London and further afield, sharing the poems with a much broader audience. And it was delightful to get the feedback and the questions and people saying, can I have a copy? And it really inspired me to keep going with my poetry as well. I thought I'd share 2 poems from this collection with you today. I very rarely read this one, but because this is the celebration of the beginning of Black History Month, I've chosen this one because it was actually about my Black identity in Jordan. For most of the expat teachers like me who'd come across from Britain, we had some New Zealanders, Australian, not very many American. There was one American teacher who taught drama. Most of us actually were British. They were always seen as British when we were out and about in Jordan. I was often assumed to be local because of the colour of my skin and my appearance. And so it gave me a very different experience to many of them. Sometimes that was a little awkward because people would come up to me and speak in Jordanian and expect me to be able to understand and reply in Arabic. I tried my best. I learned very little Arabic whilst I was out there. It's a very challenging language. Sometimes it worked to my advantage because it opened up conversations and friendships that otherwise wouldn't have opened up, because sometimes there was that disjointure between the local community and the expats who landed in the kind of wealthier part of town. So this poem explores some of the assumptions taxi drivers in particular made about me when I got into the back of their cabs. When people see me, their first guess, with my golden tan skin and casual dress, is Egyptian. But once I speak, the Inquisition starts. They know I'm not from round these parts. I'm foreign. They notice I'm black. They notice I'm tall. All I need is a fur coat or a basketball. I'm American. I explain that I'm traveling. I'm here to explore a new continent's culture, authentic and raw. I'm European. Their next guess, of course, is always the same and settles decisively my home country's name. I'm English. Which city? Though errant, my hometown, Watford's, not known. So instead I adopt the Big Smoke as my own. I'm from London. They grin at being able to pin me so quick. We've a mystery solved and a label to stick. So in kindness, the taxi drivers futilely flick their radios over to BBC Arabic. Thank you. The reason it's futile is thank you. I love the BBC World Service and I listen to it a lot. But BBC Arabic is all in Arabic. So although they're very kindly thinking, oh, he'll love hearing the BBC, I couldn't understand a word of it. Food is another majorly important part of any culture, and it was no different in Jordan. And I loved the food which brought families together. The key dish was magluba, which is just a huge pile of chicken and rice and cauliflower and carrots, and everyone dives in. I'm going to read the poem as my explanation. Magluba. Feet dimple dipped in the cool running water of the wooded rapid river near Iraq Alamir. They picnic happily on plastic tables and chairs, flipping the cooking pot over and tapping its base, now its top, till out pours a feast. Everyone who eats is welcome. Lamb mansaf is the national dish, but Magluba also holds an honoured place. Both meals prepared for family, not guests. Children take first, as tradition demands, joyful portions with more than enough left for the waiting adults to playfully fight over. Cauliflower, potato, pine nuts and rice heaped onto chicken, a hearty pile that fills your plate and stomach, more than enough. Laughter is the compulsory side dish. The old feel young, the young feel full, the full feel happy, the happy smile. Thank you.
Thank you, Alex. That
You're
was
welcome.
excellent.
Do I have 2 minutes more, or is that my time, Clive? You let me know.
Do you want to share a bit more?
I'm happy to, if you'd like.
Yes, yes, please.
There's just one more book to mention, and then that's the journey done.
Okay, yes.
So my most recent collection is called Secular Verses, and I was raised Catholic, but now consider myself a humanist. And this collection of poems explores that journey. It explores ideas around religion, faith, belief, agnosticism, atheism, and the label I now use for myself, humanism. I thought I'd share just one poem from here, a poem called My Father. Like most good Catholic children, I learnt Our Father, the Lord's Prayer, by heart, and I still run through it almost involuntarily on quite a regular basis. But I thought I could twist it into something which is more personally meaningful for me today by thinking about my earthly father and how I could use the rhythms and the structure of that beloved prayer to actually reflect on what I love about my dad. So this isn't Our Father, this is My Father. My Father, who walked on earth, I thank you for my name. The home you made was strong and sure and set me on my path. You gave me each day my daily bread and forgave me my trespasses, teaching me to forgive those who trespass against me and leading me away from temptation towards a true course for happiness. For your arms were full of kindness, your mind full of wisdom, and your heart overflowing with love. Thank you.
Thank you, Alex. We will no doubt want to hear more in time, but thank you very much for that. Okay, so I think we are now going to.
Clive, I just have a quick question for Alex, if I may.
Okay.
Alex, in terms of poetry, now when I was growing up, poetry was a thing, it had to rhyme at the end. And I think then people will often maybe say, oh, I can't write poetry, or I'd never write poetry, blah, blah, blah. So from your perspective, as your poems are very free, and I love the twist on the Lord's Prayer, they were all beautiful, and they were like little mini stories and vignettes. Are there any rules for poetry, or would you just say to people, just get your pen and write, or put your fingers on the keyboard?
Absolutely, I say get your pen out and write. I work as an English teacher, and I love the work that I get to do with my younger students on poetry, because it's so often just about unlocking their creativity. And giving rules is really helpful. When you have some limitations, some boundaries, it forces you to be creative, to find ways to fit your creativity within those bounds. And so giving rules can be a great jumping off point, but there is absolutely no reason to feel confined by them. And if a rule isn't helping you, if it's hindering you, I always tell the kids, chuck it out. Write what's meaningful to you. And that's the most important thing.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Excellent advice. I value that too, particularly since I want to follow your footstep, Alex. And I actually wrote a poem about 45 years ago. And I don't know about you, but I wrote this poem. I was a student in Birmingham, and I saw an incident, and I actually was compelled to wrote this poem, which of course I then put away somewhere. 45 years ago, I can think, I know what the title of the poem was, but can I remember what it was that I wrote? Because I think there's still some value and some relevance to that. So I got to start doing some clearing out, or maybe I might still find this thing 4 to 5 years later. But thank you very much. I want to try and find more time to do a bit more of that sort of creative writing that Alex has become so adept at, and I'm sure there are some other people on here who are doing some work along those lines.
And can I just say, if you are, please come along to our Black History Month open mic Monday night at the Pump House Theatre. Take a 5-minute spot and share what you're doing. We'd love to welcome you.
All right. Okay. Great. Great. Right. Another plug for that. So let me look. So the next thing we wanted to do is we haven't had any questions or comments, and Hamidou is actually quite with us. So I think as Gemma is still indisposed, I better say something about the website. So that, with that being said, let me just see if I can share my screen and see if I can find, okay. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes, your screen has just come up. And just a quick one, Alex, if you have any links for your books, could you also put them into the chat, please? And Clive, yes, your screen is out working with and for the community.
Yes. So the whole idea is that we were going to try and so no, not trying. We're effectively launching our website. It's been in development for a little while, and you've just seen a little bit from it already. I need to give a great deal of credit to a couple of young people who have done the work on this. And through this, it's realized something that we've had in mind for at least 5 years, that our website has been in need of development. And first and foremost, we got Gemma on board, and she is a very creative young woman, as well as a hardworking young woman who is juggling all sorts of little things, which is why she's not actually here with us at the moment. But with her drive and really pushing all of us to make sure that we got it together, we've largely completed the process. There may be one or two other things that we might want to bring in. So, for example, we used to have a Black History Month website, but you can see that we've got a special feature there on the screen talking about Black history, and we'll just show you that. So the website, if we can put it in the chat, is there. If somebody can just put it in the chat for people who want to go and visit. So we talk about here about the fact that we've been around for a little while, and some of the things that we are doing here, including our 50 plus younger people's project, Thrive, some work around sickle cell and thalassemia. We are available to provide support and advice to uplift our community. Black history, of course, is part of what we do, social and cultural activities. And you heard in Sam's video the fact that we used to organize before lockdown some dinner dances and so on. It was all part of bringing us together, as well as raising funds. And of course, these are a couple of our founding members. You saw the video about Sam earlier on, and Cynthia Dixon is dead, and Randolph Henry is also dead. There's some stuff here around volunteering and getting involved with us. There are all sorts of opportunities, so we are wanting people to get involved. We particularly want to encourage people across Watford and Three Rivers to become members. And there are some things there about what you get as a member. We are devising a digital membership form. You get information regularly about our activities such as Black History Month. We are creating a situation where you can get discounts from places, and we are going to try and see whether we can get some prizes that people can win. We already have a monthly newsletter, which you will get if you're a member, which kind of brings you up to date with some of the news about what's going on, and of course the stuff around celebrating Black history. We want to introduce a sort of a book club on a quarterly basis where we can review books and recommendation, particularly those around the locality. And of course, we want to work as an organization to influence others, and having people in the fold that can help us to do that is going to be great. And of course, you may not consider this to be very important, but for me, it's very important because I'd like to see people becoming trustees, and hopefully it won't be too long before I won't actually any longer be needed as your chair. We have currently a board of trustees, some of whom you'll see here. I think some of them are on the meeting here. You've heard from Joe, you've heard from Marcia. I know Garnet has just joined. He's had some issues. You've Pearline, Eva, Khadija, David, I haven't heard. Amadou, I think he may be otherwise engaged, and myself. So I think most of us are here this evening. We used to have a bigger board. We can still do some, have some more people. What I would say, so long as you are willing to join us in doing the work, because we've only got one paid person to help us out, and that is Gemma. So some stuff about what we do. I won't go into that now. Upcoming events, apart from Black History Month, we'll be looking at some of those things. And this picture is from one of our balls that we have. I think this was probably at the Hilton Hotel. And of course, you can see here some stuff here about some of the things that we're doing for the month. Tonight was a launch. We got the event on Tuesday, and you've heard all about this already. We are the storytelling amongst others. So if you go and visit the website, you can see a bit more about all of these things. Black History Month. So this is where Marilyn was keeping us up to date earlier on. And Gemma's put together this very useful and helpful calendar, which at a glance you can see the main things that are happening where we've got some involvement in. If you are aware of other activities taking place that ought to be featured, please get in touch with Gemma, and we can maybe we can put that in the chat too. So if anybody wants to do that, we're a charity. We're a registered charity. So on this website, you can actually donate. And we thought it's important to have those things prominent. So equally to become a member and to be able to contact us, that information is there. So as I said, we've been working on this for a while. I think Gemma's done a wonderful job here. The other person that I should mention was, in fact, who's played a minor role within this, because the major part of the work was done by Gemma. But I think on the technical IT side, it's my son, so I shouldn't forget his contribution. He's been helpful in trying to get some of the technical bits as an IT person, bring that to the fore. And I think between the two of them, I hope you'll agree, should I say, that we've now got a wonderful new website that is ready and open. So please encourage people to come and visit. Please encourage people to come and contribute, because actually it's our website, and we need to get contribution across the piece. We got things like the activities that's going on, the newsletter. We want contributions to be put in there. If people want to actually share bits of writing has been mentioned. We can feature those sorts of things. And if you got some ideas as to other things that we can do as an organization, and particularly if you want to come on board to do that, then please come and help us out. We are working in partnership, and we thank particularly Three Rivers District Council for the kind of support they've been able to give us. And let's look at some of these people. I emphasize them particularly because through them we were able to have we're able to pay for Gemma, and we got Watford Borough Council and some of these other people, an organization down here. And I see you can hear a bit more about different things that's going on at different points in time. So I think I'm going to stop sharing this because we're nearly out of time. Any questions?
Clive, I'm just going to very quickly say on that one, because I know Joe is here as well. When we had a beautiful website last year as well, because I think it was the first time it had been revived, and Joe Innes was the man behind that. So it's really wonderful to see Joe's work and how we've built on that and this year's website. So just wanted to kind of give Joe a nod for really getting the ball rolling last year and having us be okay. I can send you the link to the website, because that was really nice to be able to do that.
Excellent. Yes, and Joe is one of our board members and has been, as Marilyn has said, instrumental in helping us on this journey, particularly the way we've reflected on actually the integrated Black History Month website is actually, you can see it's actually taken quite a lot from what we were doing previously. So, and that was definitely Joe's work. So thank you very much. I think
Zora has also put something in the chat. She says, please mention Ballet Black, Watford Palace Theatre, 17th of October, one night only. You will be very lucky if you can get a ticket, because I've been for a few years and there's no seats. You know, it is packed, it's sold out, and I'm delighted that it's sold out every year. There may still be tickets left. So thank you so much, Zora, for the mention. Watford Palace Theatre, 17th of October, one night only. Unfortunately, I have a council meeting that day. Otherwise, I would be there again in the front row. Sorry, Clive, back to you.
I've omitted to say something, and I want to kind of big up Gemma just slightly bit more, because actually some of you might know that our website had been our website address was previously wacas.org.uk, because we weren't able to get waca.org.uk. Well, Gemma arrived and she was able to identify the possibility of acquiring waca.org.uk, and through her efforts we've acquired it, no charge whatsoever. So excellent work has been done, and as I say, you've seen the result of it. However, I'm very conscious that we've only got 2 more minutes, so don't think Amadou has been able to join us, is he? No. Let me just say then, to try and wrap up, thank you to Aga for her contribution earlier on. Thank you to the colleagues who we worked with on producing the video of Sam. We did invite Patricia Wharton, who you saw in that video, to join us, but she was otherwise engaged. Otherwise, she would have been with us. I think she's in the Caribbean, if I remember correctly. So thank you to those people. Thank you to our Black History, we call it Black History Planning Group members, because they're the people who've actually been able to put all of this together. And that includes, and I should probably just name, no, I'm not going to name because we haven't enough time. Just to say, myself and Marilyn and some of the other people you've heard of tonight are a part of that group. If you want to be a part of planning going forward, then please get in touch. Thank you for Marilyn for helping us to co-host tonight. But first, last but not least, thank you all for joining in this evening. The video will be available. Please share it with others. We'll put it out on YouTube. And I'm going to give Marilyn the last word just before we close at 8:30.
Well, I just want to say thank you to you, Clive. As Zora had said earlier, you've been pioneering this for decades, steering the ship, keeping it going, pulling it all together. And what's really fantastic, because I don't know if any of you have ever sat on committees, meetings, all the rest of it, where sometimes you feel like you're just talking and nothing's happening, but to see the whole thing come together, to see the plan, the website, the wonderful events. We've already had Alex, you know, kicking us off with performance art, I would call it. It's just been absolutely amazing. And yes, we really now need you, the audience. So if you know anyone who could benefit from being at any of these events, if there's anything they would enjoy, really important topics, I would urge you to share. But thank you to you, Clive, for always making sure everything happens, getting the links out to everyone. Very much appreciated.
Thank you. And on that positive note, have a good evening and a good week. And please come and join us on Tuesday and for the rest of the events that we're going to be having going forward. Thank you all again. Bye.
And remember to stop the recording.
Yes.